Most businesses fail, but the E-Myth Revisited tells us why they fail and how you can be different. People's dreams of financial freedom are so often destroyed by such common yet fatal misconceptions. Thinking that you're different, that your business will work, will only take you down the same painful path of so many others. But the E-Myth Revisited offers a proven blueprint to defy the odds and live the life that you want. To run a successful business, you need three things. You need a clear vision or destination for your business. You then need a clear system or way of actually getting to that destination. And finally, you need to actually put in the work and follow those systems to get to your destination. In the E-Myth Revisited, this corresponds to three crucial roles that must be filled for a business to be successful. Whereas the entrepreneur's role to set the vision or destination for the company. It is the manager's role to set up the systems that run the business. And it is the technician's role to actually execute those systems and push the company towards the end goal. And the core issue that so many businesses face that cause them to fail is that they focus just on the technical work. All they do is hustle. They work even more, and they work themselves to the bone. But they never actually set up systems or a vision for the company. And this is what causes so many of them to fail. It's effectively like flying a rocket without any destination. And so it causes so many businesses to follow the wrong path, which leads their businesses to fail. And this is what the E-Myth is. Because so many people, when they start a business, they think the business is purely what the business does. If it's a hair salon, they think the business is just cutting hair. If it's a pie shop, they just think the business is baking pies. Whatever it is, people think that the technical work that a business does is effectively the same thing as a business. And so when they're stuck in their, say, 9-to-5 job, having to follow the rules that weren't set by themselves, or they just get sick of their manager, they think that, well, why don't they just go and start their own thing? How hard can it be? They know how to, say, cut hair, so why can't they run a hair salon? But the issue is they're not one and the same. And this phase of the business, where someone believes that the technical work that a business does is the same thing as the business, is what is called as the infancy phase. Because what happens is the owner of the business is so caught up with just working and working and working that it becomes over-reliant on the owner because they're doing all the work. And because they're doing all the work, they become overworked because now they're not just doing the technical work, they're having to do all of the other things that come along with running a business, whether it be the finances, balancing the books, or dealing with all the admin that comes along. And so effectively what it becomes is just a terrible job. You're doing the exact same thing that you were doing before, but now you have way more jobs to do. And a lot of the time, you're not even getting compensated more than you were. You end up working longer hours, doing things you don't enjoy doing to an even greater extent, and not even being financially compensated. And your dream of financial independence slowly slips away. From here, businesses usually go one of two ways. They either entirely give up. The founder is done and they just go back to their job. Alternatively, what they realize is there's too much work. They can't do it all. And so they start hiring other people to do it for them. They hire someone to do the books. They hire someone to market. Whatever it is, the things that they feel overworked doing, they hire someone else to do it. But the issue is they don't really tell this person what to do because they don't really know themselves. They advocate these roles. They just tell them, you just go do the books, and they just let them run free. And initially, this might work fantastically. You might start to really enjoy the business again and be really hopeful for where it's going to go. And maybe hire more people, and maybe they hire more people and more people and more people. But the issue is, if no one's telling them exactly what to do and how to do it, they'll end up just doing their own thing. And none of them are as invested in the business as you are. And so what happens is the quality slowly starts to drop. Customers slowly start complaining. Things slowly start to go wrong. And this is the phase of the business that's called adolescence. From here, businesses tend to go one of three ways. Some businesses decide to go for broke. They just keep on hiring more people and then hope that somehow it'll just fix itself. And these businesses usually blow up. And eventually it all catches up to them and everything explodes. They can't pay payroll, there's too many people, and the business dies. Alternatively, some people just decide to go back to infancy. They're disillusioned with hiring people. It didn't work out, the quality dropped, nothing really worked. And so they just decide, why not just go back to when it was nice and simple, when it was just me doing all the work. And so they do that. They go back to infancy, but then you face the exact same problems as you did during infancy. You're overworked and it's over-reliant on you. And so it's just effectively a bad job. And so eventually, people usually give up. And that's the story of so many businesses. They start so motivated, and then they end up going down this route where they're over-reliant on themselves and they're so concentrated on just working that they never actually build the business that'll give them the freedom that they even started it for. And so they end up being completely overworked and usually just giving up. So the question is, how do you avoid that? If that's why most businesses fail, how do you stop that from happening? What's the third route that you can take out of adolescence to actually build that business that gives you the financial freedom that you desire so much? And that's what the rest of the E-Myth Revisited goes through. It's this process of developing your business, or the business development process. And ultimately, it's developing your business so that all three of these crucial roles, the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician, are in balance. So your business can actually run successfully. And one of the key mindset shifts that needs to take place in this process is that you see the business as the product. What you're doing when you're running a business is you're not just delivering a product. If you're a hair salon, the business isn't cutting people's hair. Or maybe you're an e-commerce store. The product isn't actually the things you're selling. The product that you should be working on is the business itself. And so now I'll go through how you should actually set up a business so that it works and to avoid the pitfalls of so many others. The first step is to establish a clear vision for your business. What do you actually want out of it? Where are you even trying to get to? Because without a vision, you can't get anywhere. It's like driving somewhere without a destination. You can't expect to end up anywhere because that's the whole point. So we have to do the same thing with a business. Where do we actually want to go? And there's two components of this. We have to set our personal vision. Where do we, as the founder of the business, want to end up? And so this is what the book calls your primary aim. It's effectively trying to define what kind of life do you want to live? How do you want to spend your time? What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? How do you want the people in your life to think of you? It's a big question and one that you'll probably never really know the full answer to, but you need to at least think about it, because if you don't know where you're trying to get to in your life, you won't really know where you're trying to get to in your business. Because ultimately, your business is just to facilitate you living a fulfilled life. So figure out what that means to live a fulfilled life for you, and then we can figure out how to use the business to get there. And so once you've established your personal vision, you can then establish what your business needs to do to help you accomplish that. More specifically, in the E-Myth Revisited, the author focuses on this idea of how much money do you need to actually fulfill your personal vision. And the process of setting this financial or money-oriented goal and determining if your business can even hit it is the process of developing what the book calls your strategic objective. And when doing this, you need to consider the amount of money you'll make on an ongoing basis, but also the amount of money you'll make if you sell the business. And then both of those will determine if this business is even worth setting up in the first place, as it'll tell you if it even has the potential and the likelihood to make the money that you need to live the life you want. And so what you need to do is determine a hypothetical ongoing amount of revenue that you can make at the final form of your business. Ultimately, how many customers could you have and how much revenue would each of those customers give you? This is quite a hard thing to determine, but you can also consider competitors and seeing how many customers they have or how much money they make. And you can also look at your customers directly. So you can look at who your customers are or their demographics and why your customers buy and their psychographics. And you can use that to inform how many customers you might have and how much revenue you could generate from them by considering what your customers' needs are and how well you satisfy those needs with your product. And then once you can figure out a rough estimate for your ongoing revenue, you can also figure out how much you could sell the business for by looking at the revenue multipliers that you can usually find for specific industries when you're selling a business. And based off that, you can determine how much money you could roughly make from that business and whether that will be enough to actually fulfill your primary aim or personal vision. And that's the first step and the role of the entrepreneur. The next key role is that of the manager. And what the manager needs to do is set up systems that'll help that technical work or execution actually work towards the right goal, the right vision, and setting up systems to run your business. This stems from the franchise model, where the franchise model presented a new way of doing business, where the business would be systems dependent, where the system would run the business and the people would run the system, rather than being a people-dependent business where it's just the people that run the business. And by setting up systems that run the business, anyone could run it. And so a key example of this is McDonald's. Any random 15-year-old can actually run the business because they have documented such clear systems on how to do that. They've documented systems to run the entire business, from hiring people, training people, how to make every kind of meal on the menu, how to clean everything. Every single component is systematized so that anyone can do it. And although you probably don't want to make a business like McDonald's or even franchise your business to begin with, this process of building systems is vital to actually build a successful business. Because if you haven't clearly documented how to run your business, then you're either going to be, number one, entirely reliant on the people you hire, or number two, be entirely reliant on you doing everything yourself. And both of which mean you have less control over your business and you're more likely to follow down that path of infancy and giving up. So setting up systems is so important to ensure that you can actually have autonomy with your business. And it also will help you improve your business in itself and ensure that everything is done just right. And so that's why it's important to set up systems even if you don't want to franchise your business, because it's key to actually building a successful business. And in the book, he presents 3 types of systems. The first type are hard systems, or the systems that run the innate or non-living things within your business, whether that be the brand colors you use, the office environment you work in, the clothing your employees have to wear. And then the second big type of system are the soft systems, which are the living things, the people in your business, the way you communicate with your employees or with your customers. All of that are done by living things. And then the one that brings the two together is what we call the information system. And it's largely just a way to quantify the impact that each of the other 2 systems are having. How are your brand colors affecting your marketing and your conversion? How is the way your employees communicate affecting your sales? It's a way of actually quantifying the effect of these respective systems. But the main one that the book focuses on are the soft systems, and how to set up a system to manage the people that run your business and market your business. 2 of the most important roles to running a business. And the first one, how to manage your people and how to manage the work that needs to be done in your business, comes down to 2 key foundations. First of all, you need to have a clear purpose behind your business, a clear reason why any of the work even needs to be done. Maybe you want to have a positive impact on the education system. Maybe you want to provide order to people's unordered lives. Maybe you want someone to feel cared for. Whatever it is, you need a clear, logical foundation or purpose behind your business so that your employees can feel meaning when they actually work on that business. Number two, you need to clearly show how they should be doing or what they should be doing in their business. And so this is documenting the roles that everyone must fill within the business. And to show all of those roles within your entire business, you can create what's called an organizational chart, where you show every single role that needs to be filled. And this isn't for your business right now. This is for your business at the very end, when it's fully set up and fully successful. What is every role that needs to be filled? Because the thing is, there's really not much difference between what your business is now and what it will be. The only difference is that right now, you have to do all of it. And eventually, you'll hire other people to do it. But at the end of the day, you have to do the same work. So notate everything and all the roles that need to be filled to run your business successfully. And then within each of those roles, you need to define them individually in what's called a position contract, where you define the title, and then the key element is the requirements for that role. What work or duties do they need to fulfill? And what results and standards will they be held up to? And this whole process of actually filling that role needs to be clearly documented in a system, or what you can think of as an operational manual. Effectively, you want to have a to-do list that anyone can follow and fill that role. That you could hand it over to some untrained 15-year-old, and with a tiny bit of guidance, they would be able to do exactly what that role needs to do. And so this is what's going to take so much time developing, because initially when you start a business, you have to do all of this yourself. You have to fill every role. Unless you say co-founded the business and then maybe you can split it between two people, the founders have to fill every single role. And so when you first start a business, you have to first define every role that needs to be filled and then slowly determine what work needs to be done and how should it be done. And define those operational manuals, those systems, those checklists, which notates exactly how to do it and exactly how to do it perfectly every time. And then at the bottom of the position contract, you can have a signature so that the person who fills the role will take responsibility. So that's the first key step. And like I was saying, initially you have to do it yourself because you're the founder, you have to fill the roles. And at any point, you need to be willing to fill the role that you expect someone else to fill. Because otherwise, why would that person ever want to work there? Because if you don't want to do it, why should they? And then once you've done that, you can start hiring. You can start delegating because now you're not advocating the position. You're delegating the position. You've told them what to do and they just have to do it. And this way you have a lot more control over your business. But the thing is when you're hiring people, you need to make sure they're motivated to even care. Because they're not the founders of the business. They're not as invested. And so you need to make them invested. And the way you do that is through treating it like a game. You first need to establish a clear game for your employees to effectively play. And all this really is communicating everything that I just talked about. You need to tell them why are they doing what they're doing? How are they going to do that? And how can they win or how can they be rewarded for the work that they do? And you make sure that the rewards they do don't finish the game. There's no end point for the game. The game must be ongoing because otherwise your business will shut down. There has to be a way for your business to continue and to continuously reward your customers while it runs. And so you first have to establish the game, establish a way to motivate the people within your business. You then need to constantly remind them of this game. Why are they playing it? How should they play it? And how can they win? And as people start to lose interest, you need to change the game a little. But never change the why, the foundation of the game, because that's important. If you change that, then people will start to question the meaning of the work they do. Instead, you can change slightly how they do it or maybe how they get rewarded for doing it. That way they stay engaged. But that's the first system. That's the system of management. And it's a big one and it'll take a lot of time to set up. But the second big system is an externally facing one of how do you actually market? How do you sell to other people? And we'll go through the principles behind your marketing system that you must follow and the process of what that'll actually look like. The two principles that every marketing system must be built off is that you're number one, customer centric. Marketing is about selling to your customers. So it is all about your customers. You need to know them inside and out. Who are they? What are their demographics? And why would they even want to buy in the first place? Their psychographics. You can use things like forms to actually collect this from your dream customers and reward them with, say, a free product or a discount. Because the second foundational principle is that fundamentally people buy unconsciously. They buy emotionally. They don't buy logically. And so you need to understand their emotional requirements, their emotional needs, or their psychographics, why they buy, for you to actually convince them to buy. It's not about logically convincing them, it's about emotionally convincing them, because they make their decisions unconsciously a lot quicker than they think. And once you understand the foundational principles, we can start implementing them into the actual processes of your marketing system, which includes 3 steps. Lead generation, which is also known as marketing, lead conversion, which is also known as sales, and client fulfillment, which can also be known as operations. Or in other words, find a customer, convince that customer to buy, and make sure that customer is happy after they purchased. And you can set up systems to run all 3 of those processes within your business. And once you set them up, then we can come over here and start hiring other people to run them. And so that's the foundation of what the manager needs to do, and one of the main focuses of the book, which is setting up systems to run your business. And once you set up systems, what you can do is constantly improve them. And this is one of the other key benefits of defining a system in your business, is it makes your thinking visible, so you can clearly actually improve how you do business and provide more value to your customers. And so this involves 3 simple steps. You need to innovate or come up with a new idea. And this can be for anything, any part of your business. It's not just your product that you offer. Innovation isn't just about making a new product. It's about every part of your business. Maybe you have a better way of marketing, or maybe you have an innovative way of customer service. A few simple examples in the book is an innovation of, instead of saying, "Hey, may I help you?" when someone comes into your store, you can ask, "Hi, have you been here before?" Because then they'll actually engage in the conversation. Another example was testing different clothing for your sales representatives, where maybe they should use a blue navy suit rather than a brown suit. And so you can innovate with absolutely anything. And that innovation can be making the system better, or it can be making the system easier to run and therefore quicker to run as well. And once you've come up with an innovation, you then need to test if it's actually beneficial. Is it actually improving your systems? So you need to run a test and quantify the results. But a key thing here is to quantify them, you need to know its effect. You need your information systems. You need to be quantifying how many customers you have at every single part of your business. If you have a physical store, how many customers are walking in? How many customers are asking questions? How many customers are buying once? How many customers are returning? All of these different factors, you need to quantify everything that's important for your business. Because then you can conclude if it's actually improving the system, and if it is, you execute and you change your system and the way you run business. And this way, you can constantly improve. But that's effectively it. We've gone over the 3 foundational roles in a business. How you need to be an entrepreneur who sets the vision, a manager who develops the systems, and a technician who executes those systems to actually accomplish your vision. And these 2 roles that people so often ignore, of the manager and the entrepreneur, are vital to have a successful business. And it's what we call working on your business. Working as the entrepreneur and setting a vision and building systems, it might not seem like you're making direct progress, but it's the most important part. Working on your business is what will actually make your business successful. And you need to undergo this business development process of setting up these systems and setting up your vision. And at the end of the day, the business is a reflection of who you are, of who the founders are. And so if you want to change your business, you need to change yourself through learning and improving, and not just working in the business. It's not about doing business, it's about building a business. And so the one phrase that the author loves to say is, don't work in your business, work on it. And that's the E-Myth Revisited. That's why most businesses fail and what to do about it. If you liked the video, please subscribe. I'll be making more like this as I continue my journey on learning how to set up a successful business.